Here with Ryan Bader. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Here in Vancouver, feeling great, ready to fight.
You're looking good. As always, the boxing is looking fantastic. The wrestling, we got to see a little bit, tiny bit.
Yeah.
But where's your head at right now? How you feeling?
I feel good. I'm at the point in my career where this is, I'm a veteran. I've been in the UFC, 13 times in that octagon, So, for me, it's another fight, but it's a very important one. I look at this fight as, kind of one of those fights in my career. It kind of a crossroads as far as I need to go out and if I want to beat those top, 5 guys, I need to beat Cavalcante, and so a lot of pressure on this fight, but when is any other fight not have pressure? So I'm ready to go.
True. Now, he's been around the sport for a very long time, and I'm not saying you didn't study him ahead of time, but when you finally got the offer to take him on, from the moment you said yes to where you are right now, what did you learn when you started studying him?
Yeah, I knew who he was, and I watched a few of his fights, but, you get the DVD of all of his fights, and through Strikeforce and UFC, then you get to really dive into him, and he's definitely a very, very good fighter. I think he's a little underrated. He had his reign over in Strikeforce, fought a lot of great guys, and he's very powerful. He's quick. He's a good striker, and black belt jiu-jitsu, hard to take down. So he's good everywhere, and so I realized I had a tough task on my hands, and I've fought the best guys in the world in this sport, so I'm ready to go. He's no different.
You take a look, you mentioned every fight has pressure, and I completely concur, because stepping in the cage is one thing, talking about it is another. But against a guy like Feijão, you said this is a crossroads, or potentially a crossroads fight. What type of statement do you want to make that you look at Dana White and Joe Silva and say, hey, I ain't going anywhere anytime soon?
Yeah, well, I feel like I'm just kind of hitting my stride in my career. As far as I got the right coaching around me, I feel good physically and mentally. I feel like I'm in the best shape. My body's been the best it's ever been. I just turned 31 years old, and I really feel like I'm just in the beginning of my prime. So, I haven't had that fight where I put it all together, where I walked out of there and saying, hey, that's me as a fighter. And I want that fight to be with Cavalcante. And I believe I can go out there and put him away and finish him. And for me, I've had a great career. I've only lost to the best, but I want to beat those guys. That's what I want to start doing. I want to go on a run. I've been alternating wins and losses the last couple fights, fighting the best guys, but I need to get to the place where I can beat those guys, and I think I can. And I can't do that without getting through Cavalcante, and he's one of those guys that I think deserves to be up there too. So tough fight, and that's what I kind of mean with a crossroads, as far as I need to go out there and beat him to be relevant in that top 5 title contention kind of fights.
It's funny you mention that, because now you got my brain thinking. Whenever you and I or CB or the guys talk from Arizona, I'm always wondering what's next for you guys. You just mentioned we haven't seen the best or the next version of Ryan Bader. Who is that?
It's just a complete fighter. And at the beginning of my career, I was going in there pretty much as a pure wrestler. I had punching power, so I went in there and tried to hit people, and I just tried to hit them in the face. That's it, right? And so I didn't know anything about footwork and feints and head movement, anything like that. And so I feel like I got into it late by not knowing any better, not being around the right people. Now I do have those coaches. I've been around this game for a while, and so that's what I'm improving on. I'm improving my overall game while keeping my bread and butter, which is wrestling, and using it more. People kind of fall in love with their hands a little bit too much, and I need to implement both of those games and just make it into a good synergy where I'm using both my boxing, my power, and my wrestling. And if I'm doing that, it's hard to beat. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I feel like the last, I would say, year and a half, 2 years is when I really felt like, okay, I'm getting this, and I feel comfortable with experience, and I don't care who's across the cage. And I fought Machida, Jones, Rampage, Nogueira. Now it's just any other guy sitting across the cage. I don't look into that anymore. So that's where I'm kind of at right now.
That final statement, as ladies and gentlemen, you just heard, is the very reason why I say Ryan Bader is very underrated and underappreciated in this fight. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys.